Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Start, and welcome back to Season 2. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with at some point: responding faster. Because maybe this has happened to you. Someone asks you a question, and you understand it. You know the answer. But your brain just pauses. You start thinking, translating, looking for the perfect sentence. And by the time you're ready, the moment is already gone. And you feel like, why am I so slow? But here's the truth. The problem is not your English. The problem is how your brain is processing English. Because many learners don't think in English yet. They translate from their first language into English. And that process takes time. So naturally, your response becomes slower. And that's normal. But the good news is, you can train yourself to respond faster. Not by memorizing more vocabulary, but by changing how you speak. One of the first things you can do is stop trying to be perfect. Because when you try to build a perfect sentence in your head, you slow yourself down. A lot. Instead, try to say something simple, even if it's not perfect.
For example, if someone asks, "What did you do today?" Don't wait to build a long answer. Just say, "I studied." That's enough to start. You can always add more later. Speed first, perfection later. Another thing that really helps is using filler phrases. These are small expressions that give you time to think. For example, let me think. That's a good question. Well, actually. These phrases are very natural. Native speakers use them all the time, and they help you start speaking immediately, even if you're still thinking. So instead of staying silent, you stay active in the conversation. Another powerful trick is answering in chunks, not full sentences, small pieces. For example, I think it's interesting because I like the topic. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to flow. Because real conversation is not one perfect sentence. It's a series of small connected ideas. I also think practice plays a huge role here, because the more you speak, the faster your brain becomes. At first, everything feels slow, but after repeating similar situations, your brain starts to recognize patterns. You don't need to think too much anymore. You just respond, automatically. Another thing you can do is prepare common answers, not scripts, but ideas. For example, questions like, what do you do? Where are you from? What do you like? These questions come up all the time, so if you practice answering them, your response becomes faster and more natural because your brain is already familiar with it. I also want to say this. It's okay to pause. Responding faster doesn't mean speaking without stopping. A short pause is natural. Even native speakers pause. The goal is not zero pause. The goal is not getting stuck for too long. So don't panic when you pause. Just keep going. I think another mindset shift is very important. Stop thinking, I need to say something correct. Start thinking, I need to say something. Because communication is more important than perfection, always. And when you focus on communication, your brain relaxes. And when your brain relaxes, you respond faster. It's that simple. I've seen many learners who improve a lot, not because they learned more grammar, but because they stopped overthinking. They allowed themselves to speak, even if it's not perfect, even if it's simple. And that's when their fluency started to grow. So if right now you feel like you're too slow when speaking, don't be too hard on yourself. It's part of the process. But with small changes, you can improve it. Start small. Answer quickly. Use simple words. Use filler phrases. Speak in chunks. And most importantly, keep practicing. Because speed comes from repetition, not from thinking more. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this episode helps you feel more confident to respond faster without overthinking. Because you don't need more time. You just need to trust yourself more. Thank you for listening to Fluent Start. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.